Alright. Hello guys, this is SSN Sports Network. I decided over here, I have a pretty good formula that I want to try out, and that's, I can make a video like those short ones. That will just be, like just one or two or even three just headlines, and I expect something funny on it just for that, and then that will be it. So I just, just make a short video because I don't want to make something long for someone. And especially someone that doesn't know our channel, nothing like that. That way they can still be able to click it. But when it comes to actually like talking about the sports headlines and topics, we could do that, and I could just do just a podcast. So that will be this. So every Tuesday we'll be having the podcast come out, and I decided to call it the SSN Podcast. And on Thursdays will be the days the videos come out. But so that's what we're going to go ahead and do here. So once again, my name is Ryan, and this is
Victoria.
So we're going to go ahead and we'll just go ahead and get started here. So I think the first one, definitely that happened over here was the Rondo and Chris Paul fight. And, the fight happened apparently, like I said, I talked about it, was, well, the next day they found out that it was Rondo that actually spitted on Chris Paul. Apparently, what I heard from, every heard on the radio was talking about, he just did it in a way, he's smart about it, so it doesn't look like the camera actually caught it, but he kind of just went, like that.
Well, I remember the night of the game, we watched that video, 6 times trying to find it.
It's pretty fun.
Getting in that one little spot where you can maybe see it.
Where he spits.
No matter what camera angle, you cannot see it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, though, because when you see Chris Paul, he's going like this before, anything even happens.
Yeah.
He's got fucking spit on. That's going to piss him off. And then, after he went ahead and he got spat on, he was like, fuck you, and put my hand in your face there. And then once he did that, Rondo was like, fuck any professionalism. I'm fucking throwing punches here.
Well, I mean, professionalism. He spit in someone's face.
True.
The professionalism went out the window.
Out the window there, for sure. And then once he did that, and then, the whole fight kind of broke out, Chris Paul was able to land in a hit. And what I thought was pretty funny, though, was, LeBron James was with the Chris Paul on that Olympic team that they had a while ago. When that did happen, you saw LeBron James immediately went to go get Chris Paul to help out Chris Paul, his buddy, instead of going to his Laker teammates.
Well, I mean, you can kind of see it from both sides, though. You can see it's from that, but you also have to remember the placement of LeBron is right next to Chris Paul.
And LeBron's a big dude. If anyone's going to stop Chris Paul, it's going to be LeBron there.
Well, and, I don't know.
And because I was like, if there was Laker players going after him to, just stop Chris Paul, they're not going to take that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to get pissed off, fuck you. And, the Laker players are pissed off because they have Brandon Ingram throwing in a punch, too.
There's no reason for him to get involved there.
I know, what happened was before even, all this started, it looks like it was a foul on Ingram, and then Ingram just, he just shoved fucking Harden out of the way, and I was like, geez, dude. And I'm like, you need to, chill over there.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to remember, though, it's just LeBron, as much as I don't like him because he's on the Lakers, he's a good guy. Mm-hmm. He's got good values. He doesn't want to fight on the court. Yeah. It disgraces all of basketball. I'm a basketball player myself. Fights on the court, that's not where you take him out. Well, that's not where you take him out. It's a game of competitiveness.
Parking lot. Remember that. It's always a parking lot.
But it's competitiveness, and it's fair competitiveness with rules. Fighting is not allowed on that court. He's going to hold up those standards no matter who he's playing and who his team is. Mm-hmm.
And I think another thing that everyone already knows for the most part that, Chris Paul, he's a bit of a shit. He's a bit of a shithead. As for things there's already players who didn't like him. Apparently Rondo, for years, they just did not like each other. So it already makes sense, that there was already some beef there starting, and apparently it just blew up in their faces. But when it comes to, whose side I wanted to be on, we do know that Ingram was shoving first.
Yeah.
And then when it came to Chris Paul and Rondo spat on his face. So there's already, pretty good reason, want to shove your hand in there. But I think another reason is I did kind of like Rondo beforehand, but now that he's in a Lakers jersey, I'm like, fuck no, dude, I don't like you. And then Chris Paul is also on the Rockets, which was a good team that almost took out the Warriors last year. If it wasn't for him getting hurt, I honestly think they would have won that game, that series actually. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go on the Rockets in that one. So glad they did their thing.
Yeah, and we're Suns fans, born and raised. We'll always be a Suns fan. We'll get there, but
we will. I believe.
I can never side with the Lakers regardless.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing I was saying. Yeah, because with the Lakers, it's as Suns fans, you can just naturally fucking hate the Lakers. So that's another thing. I was like,
I already
don't like them. Yeah. And then I see another thing that I had here was, Brandon Ingram getting in the fight. But this was, I was talking about the Lakers here was, okay. So what started the fiasco was Brandon Ingram, shoving hard in there. But it's just, it's just a guy that I hate kind of like Ingram because they never really did any of that. He was a mellow mannered. He didn't do shit beforehand, like the first few years before LeBron came in. And when it comes to the Lakers, of course it was LeBron came in, all these big free agents started moving over there. Now they all acting like they're fucking badasses.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We were watching ESPN, one of the games on, and all of a sudden a highlight comes across the screen. LeBron Lakers. Are you kidding me? He's been on the team for like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden,
it took was the free agents coming there. Now they all act like they're fucking badasses. Like, oh, we're gonna I want to get in your fucking face. I was like, fuck you. You guys didn't earn shit. Another thing was, that's how it was. Like they didn't do anything. It's just off name brand alone. They had the big athletes come in. Now they're acting like they're hot shit. It's not like the Warriors, because with the Warriors though, I'll admit, people believe it or not, before KD came in, they had no big free agents. It was all a homegrown team. So it's Curry, Thompson, what's the other guy, the asshole?
Green,
Draymond Green. They were all drafted. Then they all slowly, by the way, they all made it to all-star level. So that's the other thing. Before or not, the Warriors were a small market team. No one gave a fuck about them. They went ahead, they got all that, and then became all-stars, and they said, fuck you to the rest of the league. And I kind of like that. And then they're allowed to, talk their shit and then puff up their chest a bit. I do believe that.
Yeah.
It's actually, they have the right because they did it themselves. It's not like the Lakers who just signed fucking players.
Well, not only that, but you have to look at the bench. It's a young team. You got to remember, Ball's on that team. Lonzo's there. He's a baby. The bench is pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean, as a franchise team with, the big Lakers name of being the Lakers and having, big name people come off of the Lakers bench in the past, they don't have that right now. What
I like, sorry if I cut you off there, but was that with Lonzo Ball just a year ago, like, oh, this guy's gonna take us, you see that, you see those jerseys. Your jersey's going to be in those Raptors, what Magic Johnson said. And then LeBron came and it's immediately all LeBron. Well, that's, of course, obvious. But they even had some trade talks about Lonzo try to get Kawhi Leonard. So I was like, fuck you, balls. But the big baller brand and all that shit.
You have to remember, he sucked last year.
He was bad.
He was not good. He's a kid. He could become good. He could work on those fundamentals and be a good basketball player.
Like this.
But that's all he is. He's a name. He's not a player yet.
That is a big reason there. And then another thing when it comes to that big baller brand, it's totally off topic here, but with what's his name, LeVar Ball, the dad, I was like, it's funny to me. I'm like, I don't mind it. It's entertainment. He's doing it on purpose. It's on. Everything's saying, oh, my son will be LeBron. No, he's just saying because he just wants, to up his brand there. And I was like, okay with that, I guess. But we all know anyone with a fucking brain knows none of that shit's true.
Well, look at it this way. Who is the female version of the Balls? The Kardashians.
Yeah.
Right now you have a male group who are mocking the Kardashians in a way. You've got a basketball family with the dad, all the kids, they all talk shit. There's a brand there, just like the Kardashians. You got.
And I'm like, and that's what's crazy. We have a reality show. Is that a lot of people talk shit about that stuff, but I guess he ran with it. He knows everyone knows is controversy. The media loves controversy. So if you have that, I think we would say that good press, bad press. Any press is good press. So if you have bad press, that's still putting your name in. You're up there. You're buzzing. So that's another thing there. So I think it's kind of smart what he's doing, but I just know myself. I'm just gonna. If you want something to go away, the best thing to do is just don't even talk about it.
No.
Just don't even watch it. Nothing.
Wait for the next headline to come along and take your place.
Gotcha. And then so when it comes to that, beforehand, we talked about the Eastern Conference, but I'll talk about the Western Conference here. So there's the Warriors, there's Houston Rockets, and then there's the Lakers. Who do you think's kind of can take the West there?
Well, of course, it's gonna be the Warriors. As much as I hate repetitiveness, I cannot stand, when we get to that ending, it's a good game, but I don't want to watch it. It's the same with football. I don't want to watch the same team win over and over. That's what's great about,
Patriots.
that's what's great. Well, that's great. I like the draft. You get those abilities of getting a team to get into the better place. You're not going to have that
and
that legacy of 20 years of one team winning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, honestly, I feel like the Warriors are heading towards. None of those players are leaving anytime soon.
Durant might leave that free agency he was talking about, but that was pretty nice. But still,
but still, that's one player out of
There's still going to be
7?
a great franchise that's always going to be deep in the playoffs. But I think one thing, and now I'm going to go off on a rant here again, but what happened was, people talk about, giant dynasties are bad for teams. But I kind of think that with the Warriors, with the NBA thing, that's kind of true because no one's going to win there. But another thing when it comes to dynasties, I think it does kind of help out the leagues because it's something that everyone's going to be talking about. Yeah. And no matter what, if you love them, you hate them, you're going to be watching them. Yeah. Like, I fucking hate this shit, but it's another reason to get people talking about your product. So the NBA, NFL, and it's just going to get someone to talk about it. But at least with the Patriots, though, you know that there's at least a little competition. There's always going to be another top team there for them instead of just them winning. Because with the Warriors, getting, what's his face? DeMarcus Cousins, we know it's over after that.
Over.
But I was going to talk, another thing was, so we do have the Lakers here. They did get LeBron, who's a huge best player in the league here.
Asset.
And they kind of, because the thing with the Cavs, it was pretty much just him after Kyrie Irving left. But, he did get some pieces there. They got Stevenson, who was a guy from the Pacers. Extremely good. They almost beat them last year in the series. I think that's a great pick. Stevenson always kind of, beefs with LeBron. That's why I liked it, because I like LeBron. I do like LeBron, actually. I'm a big LeBron fan.
Note, we went and saw the Suns play just to watch LeBron play.
It's kind of like, it's like if Brady's coming, you say you saw the greatest player ever in live person. That's pretty fucking insane. We did see that, actually. And, but Isaiah, no, not sorry, I don't know his first name, but Stevenson, he's not afraid to go up against, the big GOAT like that. I thought, this dude's a shit. And now it's kind of weird seeing that they teamed up together. And they do have Rondo. I don't think Rondo's like a crazy good player. He's old. But he's still someone that's going to help out there. And they do have the young pieces as well.
He's feisty. You gotta like that about the guy.
And he always fucking shows up in the playoffs.
No kidding.
So I think that's going to be great. That's a big thing they're going to need. So I think that's a pretty damn good team. I think pretty much what I'm trying to say is with the Cavs, after Irving left, that was kind of it. Love was pretty good. Love is real underrated. But what he has now, when he did move, it was to the Lakers, but he's got a better team around him. Yeah, and you can never underestimate LeBron. Even with they beat them when they were 3-1, he would have almost won them. The game without Kyrie Irving, if it wasn't for Kyrie, what's his name? The other guy, number 2, the guy who dribbled out the clock. They would have won that. That took out all the momentum there.
Yeah, that definitely.
So I can never count out LeBron. I still think there's a chance there. But when it comes to that, we have Houston. They're able to sign Chris Paul again. Harden's there. They're even able to get Clint Capella, that real boss center that I kind of wanted the Suns to get if they didn't get Aiton.
Yeah.
And now that they do have that, but they did lose Ariza to us. He went for his payday. He's like, I got my rings, dude. Yeah. Fuck it. I want to get that 1 year payday. So they do lose a great defensive player and also someone who can shoot by the 3 to get them the points. But they do still have some defensive pieces because we know Harden does not do defense. Chris Paul does a little bit, but having PJ Tucker there and Ariza definitely helped out the team.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's just offset it and put a balance there.
Where were they last year? Dude. They were that close.
Honestly,
were so close.
If it wasn't for Chris Paul being hurt, I guarantee you they would have won that. They would have won the fucking title. I do believe that wholeheartedly. They had to beat fucking. That was the first time you saw Steve Kerr actually pissed off at his team. He's like, "Oh, it was not playing well. This is not." I was like, "Dude, I'm loving all of this right now."
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. So I do think that with that team, I think Houston did have the chance to beat them. I think Houston again definitely keep a toe-to-toe with the Lakers there. But as we saw with the offseason, we saw Lakers getting LeBron like, oh shit, they might fucking win that finals. But then here comes the Warriors, and I definitely wanted them to lose the last few years. So I don't want to see that dynasty because it's no fun to watch. But when it comes to the Lakers, I was like, no, anything to get them out.
Yeah.
The Warriors come in to save the day, and they signed DeMarcus Cousins.
Huge.
I think he's one of the best centers out there. When he's on, he's on.
Yeah, and honestly, he went on he went on after LeBron signed with the Lakers, and I was a little upset that he went. I mean, who?
Because now
they
you know
don't
for
need
sure.
Honestly, well, they really.
Even LeBron there, it's done.
Well, they honestly didn't need him. He's a great asset to the team, but honestly, where they were at before DeMarcus Cousins is not much greater than they were before he was there. He's a great asset. He's going to skyrocket them, but they were already skyrocketed.
Yeah. He is injured right now, but when he comes on, I think he's going to kill it.
No kidding.
Another thing, the only reason they were able to get him was because he was injured. It's just a 1-year deal. It's only $5 million or something like that. Just to play that. I was like, that's insane. Because even him being there, this is the first time in like NBA history. Yeah, the 5 players, the starting lineup, all of them are fucking all-stars.
It's just there's no one to compete with that. It's done. You might as well not even.
I think they could beat the Bulls easy, like that '93 Bulls team. By far.
I was hearing a couple of the Bulls, old Bulls players actually talking about it. Saying what happens if we put them on the court, watch film, actually play them when they were back in '93.
If we have ad placement, I will fucking sell out so fast.
But yeah, no, even that team believes that this team could beat the crap out of them.
Insanely. But yeah, it would never be something. It still angers me, but like with LeBron, I was like, I do not want, because the Phoenix here, there's Laker fans everywhere.
Everywhere. You go
That's
to
how
a
it
Suns
was.
game.
They sucked for a long time, so you didn't see him, but you already see him come out in droves.
Yeah.
If they get that, they're going to start coming out like crazy. I don't want these fucking bandwagoners, because they didn't give a shit about the Lakers after Kobe left and they started sucking. Now they're going to act like they've always been fucking fans. I'm like, anything to get them even to not being in the finals, I'm like, dude, I'm going for the Warriors then, or the Rockets to take that out. So I still think they could just end it there for him. And, our next topic here that I want to talk about was Patrick Peterson wanting to be traded here.
My God, I woke up to the Arizona Cardinals app on my phone, and I get notifications when big stuff happens on the Cardinals team. And first, it was those rumors about us trading him, not him wanting to.
Yeah.
Him asking
oh my God, I was like, no, dude, no. Yeah.
And we had a heart attack, and then
this is right when McCoy got fired. Mike McCoy was the offense coordinator. Dude has a terrible track record.
Yep.
He got fired from San Diego because he sucked there as a head coach. Went to Denver, and then he didn't even last a year. Didn't even last a year again. So,
yep.
but
he made it one more game than he made last year. So props to him.
Yeah, good job.
Props to him.
But the thing is, I was like, he got fired, so I was like, okay, let's see if we can get an offense going. We're on a high here, and then after that, Patrick Peterson is saying they want to trade him. I was like, no, dude, I love Pat.
Every newspaper, every article you could find everywhere was we are trading him with Reddick and who else was on that list? Buchanan, which are still up for talks. Those are still talkable trades. It's only a couple days away. You got till the 31st to trade.
I think it's 30th, but same thing.
End of the month. But all of a sudden there was these huge rumors about him leaving, and then we get this big statement from Steve Wilkes that says, we're never letting him go. He's stuck. He's chained. And all of a sudden I wake up to an ESPN or ESPN and a Cardinals notification that Patrick Peterson is begging to be traded. Not just talking about it, begging to be traded. That's hurts.
Crazy. Yeah, because I'll say a thing here was it's a pretty controversial thing. Well, I'll skip that for later. But Patrick Peterson has been here his whole career. He's always been an All-Pro. And then I think the thing is, arguably, I would argue with anyone, he's the best cover corner in the league by far. In the beginning, he was good, and then started getting this trend like he could be the one. And it was him and Richard Sherman. Sherman does not do coverage. I still think Patrick Peterson is the best all-around quarterback in the league. But, he had 2014, he had that down year when he found he had diabetes, but no one knew.
Yeah.
And I'd say then, I was like, okay, I'll say Sherman was better that year. And then that next year, 2015, he brought it all together, all the technical stuff, and he was by far the best shutdown corner in the league.
No kidding.
By far.
Yeah.
And it's hard because he has to do it by himself. And now that there was that, I think, honestly, we have one of the best players in the league, and no one ever talks about him, really. I think he's very underrated, undershown, underappreciated.
Within our team, he's, a god. Everyone's got his jersey. Him and Larry Fitzgerald, who has also been with the team forever. He's,
And not only that, but, because we did a small market team, he always shows up for the Cardinals. He always talks about, we're a small market team, but I think people need to pay attention to us when we're doing good. I fuck with this guy a lot. I think he's very underappreciated. And the controversial thing I was probably talking about there was, Larry Fitzgerald is the GOAT wide receiver. But when it comes to him right now, and with Patrick, I think Patrick Peterson is probably the best player we have on the team.
Yeah, I mean they play very different roles.
Yeah.
It's hard when you put them next to each other. You've got a receiver and a cornerback.
Yeah, that's the other thing with a shutdown cornerback is it's not very a flashy thing because he's shutting it down. There's no real highlights there, so it's not really talked about. But I think by far he is the best cornerback in the league for sure. But besides that,
he released that statement, and I just wanted to to focus on that for a second. We understand, Patrick Peterson's upset, but so is his whole fan base. I mean, and I'm sure so is his whole team. You watched Rosen in that last game. He was yelling and cussing on that field. There were several times where that camera...
Because the team sucks.
Well, and you had a coordinator who wasn't listening. You had a team who, we were talking about it. That team has the potential to be good if they were coached right.
Yeah.
They have the potential and they're not being given it. But you also have to remember their defense has a good defensive coordinator. They've got that. They've got that going from them.
They do have that.
And they,
we'll talk more about that a little later.
Yeah. And I mean, their defense won us our only game. That defense has allowed us.
They were on the field so long, they still were able to pull that game off.
I mean, maybe 10, 20 minutes of the whole game was that offense on the field. The rest of the game was the defense. Our only touchdown, or our biggest touchdown of the game, was a defensive player. But, I mean, we're upset as well. I mean, we're just as frustrated, but he's the one on the field. But, he's very much stated in his statement that he was going to stay with the team, at least this year. It does say for years to come, but we'll keep that, put a pen in that one. But, he is an Arizona Cardinal, and he's verified that, and I think trade talks are over at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is for now. But another thing I was going to talk about, but I kind of fucking forgot. What I could think of was, I could just trail off here, was there's a look of, he is a captain of the team and one of the captains. It kind of makes him look a little bad there.
Yeah, but you also have to remember, I mean, it's not us wanting him to leave. You gotta do what's best for your team, but you also have to do what's best for a player.
Yourself, yeah.
Like, you gotta.
No, I was trying to remember here. I'm like, yeah, of course, everyone's gonna be upset. This is our best player. Some people get mad, like, oh, he just wants to leave, But the thing is, he stayed for a while. He is getting older. I think he's like 29. And then I was like, if he gets 4 more like elite years, that would be crazy. That's like lucky for him if he can get that. And then I know he does want, at that stage, you want to get a ring here. I'm okay with that if he wants to do that. I'm like, some players just want to do that. So not everyone's going to stay like Larry Fitzgerald did and try to wait it out and see. Chances are he's not going to get a ring here unless he gets taken to a different team he acts. But I don't see him doing that.
Yeah.
But I think that's okay. And when it talks about, with how shitty the team is at the moment, I do think that you could even embrace the full rebuild. You could do that. And then if you can get a good haul on Patrick and if he wants to go, there's some things that I was like, if you got 2 first-rounders out of it, dude.
I mean, that's something that you're going to have to do for the rebuilding of your team. Yeah. But the Cardinals, and I know we're going to get to the Steve Keim talk because I know that's on your list, and I know that's a big topic for us. But does he want to rebuild? Every year, we suck, and then all of a sudden we do really well in the last couple of years, and then we lose that higher pick. Last year we could have been way higher than we were in that draft, but we won a couple of games at the end. But if you're gonna do a rebuild, you got to do a rebuild. You can't look good for a very short period of time and expect that rebuild. Yeah,
definitely. I think another thing here is. That's what it was like, say, if we are going through a rebuild, once the time we start getting competitive again, Patrick Peterson was been on his decline year, so I could definitely see him just like, I just want my ring. It's what we worked for your entire life, just as to wholesale and barter trouble to show you are, their dream is to be a Super Bowl winner. So I'm like, all right, so there's that. But okay, so another topic was if Byron Leftwich can make them a better offense. I definitely think anyone's better than Mike McCoy, for sure. So I could see that.
No OC is better than Mike McCoy at this point.
And here's the thing, because he was someone that was, with Bruce Arians back in his regime, his coaching staff and all that. And he did play. He was a number 7 overall pick. He played for a bit there, and I think it was Jacksonville. Was a backup again in Steelers, but. But it said that Bruce Arians actually begged him because he was an offensive coordinator there in Steelers. He should be a coach, man. I was like, you see, He ended up as an interim, and then he ended up being the quarterback coach. But even that, like last year, Bruce Arians let him do the play calls for like 2 games there in the preseason. So pretty much what I'm saying here is he was already being like kind of scouted to be an offensive coordinator, like a future offensive coordinator. So he already has like potential there for him. So I definitely think he could do a lot for the team. But the other thing that I heard was, you can't change up an entire offense in the middle of a season. You're going to have to go with what's already there, the offensive scheme and plans. But I think you can definitely do some things to help out because, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you also have to remember, though, their offensive scheme has not worked. Mm-hmm. They can't continue to run those plays and expect to do anything but piss people off, hurt players. Players are going to get hurt. I love David Johnson. I love him. He just got off of that injury, and I'm so glad he's back. But running him up the middle every freaking time, that same injury is bound to happen again, or something worse that's going to keep him out longer.
And I think when it came to that Chicago Bear games, those 2 early touchdowns, those were actually plays that Byron Leftwich made. So I think even though you're going to have to deal with like not changing up the entire scheme, but you can make better plays, try things out to get it going. What I was about to say was, he can do it. He shows he already has the plays that with that scheme. And another thing when it comes, instead of just having David Johnson right up the middle, his halfback dive, he can, do some other runs with him. As you saw, like David was doing at I think it was the end of who did we play that Thursday night we got blown out? Broncos. He started doing that. He showed him, running to the outside more and also like zone schemes. So then like kind of instead of just straight up the middle, he can go ahead and see what's open. That's what he fucking thrived on when he had that, I think, an MVP candidate year there. And another thing is if he can go ahead and get David Johnson the ball in the passing game. That can be a huge thing for us. So that, Josh Rosen does like to throw it, down the field, and we saw that Byron Leftwich likes to do those. So I think he can have some plays there. And the last thing is just, trying to get Larry Fitzgerald the ball. Because, I think he's damn good. He can still do it. If you can start feeding him, that's going to keep the offense moving. Get David Johnson moving. Oh my God, that's huge if you can start having a running game or anything like that, especially for a rookie quarterback. You open up everything. Like if you can get the run, people will stack the box more on you, and then you can throw more.
Well, and you also have other assets other than David Johnson and Fitzgerald. You've got Christian Kirk as a wide receiver.
Oh, Kendall Wright. No, Kendall Wright. They signed the guy from the Titans too. But yeah.
I remember seeing
the tight end. Ricky Seals-Jones, yes, he is a good receiving tight end. So if they can start getting it going, because I was like, then it makes it easier. Because beforehand, for all of these fucking games, all they had to do was stack the box, stop the run, short passes that Mike McCoy is doing. It just ruins the offense. The quarterback's going to get fucking a terrible day because he's just going to get fucking sacked and hit like crazy all day.
And there's no openings there. There's never. It's very rare that you see play after play them running right up the middle. There's not going to be a hole there every time. That's where you need to run. If you don't give your runner the option of finding the hole,
it's so predictable. The defense knows what's going on. They can stop it.
And that's where all of your players are. Unless you set something up that you're going to blitz them or you're going to do something that changes up the defensive line, it's not going to work. But didn't you also say, I'm sorry, but Byron worked with
Serious?
No, he worked with quarterback Rosen. Jesus.
Yeah, that was his quarterback's coach. Yeah, so that's a good thing. You're right there. He already has a good rapport with Rosen.
He knows what he likes.
Him. Yeah, that's what I said. Another thing is what Bruce Arians did as a play caller. He said he talks to his quarterback before and says, hey, just tell me like 4 or 5 plays that you're comfortable running that you want to do. And he can do that for him, and he can also talk about that with him. Like, what do you want to do on like third and short? What do you want to do when you first start out? What do you like on the end zone? So you can already know what's comfortable, and that's already helping out because if the quarterback, Josh Rosen, likes these plays, it's going to just make it be more successful on the field.
Yeah, you're not going to see that hesitation. You're going to see so much more smoother plays.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember the few times that the team has let him throw, they're kind of risky throws. You got to remember, I mean, we got one receiver that we can automatically rely on, but you also can't rely on the defense of not being there. You got to be careful with those throws that he's wanting to throw towards that end zone. When Larry Fitzgerald's there, he can catch the ball, but you got to remember there's another guy there ready to block that pass.
Yeah. I think, definitely just with Byron Leftwich, is definitely a lot of improvement that could be happening here on the offense. There's still some hope a bit here. But I guess the one thing that's going to make it kind of hard, the two things would be, one, you kind of have to stick with the scheme. You can't just overhaul it. It's not going to work. You can't do that to the players. Two, so he's going to have to be stuck with that. Two would be, the two guards went out. Pugh's kind of down. And then I think Upati's out. So that sucks for him. And the offense, that was being made, for the players was with A.Q. Shipley, the center, that was supposed to be there as well. So that's what it was supposed to be made for. So that's going to be kind of hard for him to be able to do that. But I think there can be a bit of improvement.
Some line changes we got to make.
If Wilkes were to get fired, the next year, I still hope he could keep Leftwich or someone to help out. I think he could be a great coach.
When we brought up earlier about the whole rebuild of a team, I'm real iffy about that rebuild. You have to remember this is a brand new head coach.
Yeah.
First year head coaching. Is it right for him to come into a team who has, Bruce Arians of 5 years of something made with a team that's made, coming in and completely overhauling that and rebuilding? I mean, granted, they didn't go to the Super Bowl. They didn't make the playoffs. For a couple of years there, it was rough.
Yeah.
2 years we didn't make the playoffs.
Are you talking about after Warner and?
For the.
That was like 4 or 5 years. Dog shit years.
Dog shit years.
Okay, I thought I was talking about something else. But yeah, okay.
No, but it's his first year being a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have anything under his belt that way. This is his first year.
He only had like 2 years as a different coordinator.
That's what I'm saying. That he maybe has max 5 years of coaching experience together.
Mm-hmm.
He's a baby coach. I mean, we're talking about baby players. He's a baby coach. Does he have the right to come in and overhaul and change an entire scheme as a first year coach?
Definitely. So the topic here was, do we start putting the blame on Steve Keim here? And I would say before I start, I was a huge avid supporter of Steve Keim. He fucking brought the team together with the Arians, and they took us to the NFC Championship game. Had some great years there. So I would say that. But so as we know, the last few years he really has not hit on a draft.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
His first rounds were bust. Even like the other players, like because before when he first started off, he had some great late round picks that did great. John Brown, David Johnson, Tyrann Mathieu, and these last ones, there's been no player that's actually been on the field and was contributing for the team, and most of them are gone in a year. That is not okay. But now I can say that I can talk about the beginning. He definitely earned his praise in the beginning because the drafts he was doing, had almost you had 3-4 people that were contributing as rookies, and then the second, third years they were doing good. And another thing he did, that brought the team up as well, was he had his thing. We had his multiple signing of veteran free agents, at the very end there, so you don't have to pay this giant thing to get a free agent. And they he had him sign for those 1 year prove it deals. So you're not gonna get a lot. It says prove it. Let's see if you're still good. And if you're, any player on the contract year plays better.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I want to get their money.
Well,
so
yeah, you have to.
Making their 1 year that this is just going to be someone who was good with the team and now we got released. Says we'll give you a year, prove it.
Yeah.
And then also, so if you do good, say if we don't sign you, could get signed for another place.
Yeah.
For make some money there. Like I said, that we did it with some examples are one Antonio Cromartie and that 2014. Yeah, it was the 2014 year. Killed it. Pro Bowl year. He played fucking phenomenal there. Another one was Dwight Freeney. The 2015, we had no pass rusher. They're here's Dwight Freeney's very old end of his career here. Didn't really do anything those last 2 years. Played phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then has once again, I got 8 sacks on starting off because he signed right in the middle of the season as well. And another one was this guy that was called Larry Foote. I think it was the 2014 year. He was the linebackers coach as well afterward, but he played a good job. He was a 3-down linebacker there. He played serviceable with him, and I don't think it was Darrell Washington. Oh, it was him and Buchanan. They played great. It shored up the middle inside linebackers there. So that's something because no matter what, you're not going to be able to have your whole team done with just the the draft and the big free agents. You're going to need guys that can come in and play.
Yeah.
And the last thing was, say those years when they were getting hurt. Someone's gone. We need someone. He was drafting signing people from practice squads.
Yeah.
You're gonna come in and do good. It says, this system looks like it could be great for our scheme. Just killed it. And I think another thing you could argue with though was that he was doing that with some great signs, and also with Bruce Arians being a great coach, he just knew what to put him.
Yeah.
And all that to be good. You go ahead. I talked a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, I love Steve Keim. I think he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you listen to him talk, if you see, there's a lot of GMs that make headlines.
Definitely.
Because of the things that they're doing, and not good headlines. They're making bad headlines. The last bad headline I've seen of Steve Keim is a DUI. Everyone on the face of the planet gets a DUI. It's a human mistake. It's not a sex scandal. It's not something disgusting.
Yeah.
It's a human error. I mean, please do not drink and drive. Just
don't do it.
We're just gonna. We're not driving tonight. But I mean, he's a good guy. He's got good beliefs. The last couple of quarterbacks that we've had, we have a good team. And he has a good face for the team. But you're right. You, as a GM, you have to have those draft picks available. You have to have those trades available, and to be willing to make the smart choice. But also, you got to put the talent on the field to be a good team. If you want to be a headline GM, a good headline GM, you got to put the players on the team that belong there. And I don't know if he's necessarily done that in comparison to GMs on other teams.
Definitely. And another thing what's crazy is he started out as a scout, just like I think it was a scout, but he started off on the lower level with the Cardinals. He stayed the entire time with the Cardinals, and he's worked his entire way up. That is pretty crazy. That's loyalty to the franchise. Like you say, he's working someone who spent that much time for something, he definitely cares about this team. He wants to do the absolute best for them. And
I mean, I do have to say one bad thing. This year, I put the blame on Steve Keim. I'm sorry, but I haven't given up on Wilkes yet. I don't know if I can yet. But he brought Wilkes.
Yeah.
He allowed McCoy.
That's bad. That's a huge red flag. Who the fuck would sign after all that? That's just a dumb move.
I mean, it was a Wilkes choice, but overall, that is a Keim choice. Steve has all of the power there on who's going to coach his team, and you pick a coach who got fired 6 games in, who's been fired from the Chargers because they suck, but 6 games in the previous year from the Broncos, you decided to put him as your coach. He doesn't belong in a coaching position, and obviously we've shown that this year that he does not belong as an OC. But why were we the team that had to prove that?
Oh yeah, that's another thing about that. And I think the other thing I was going to say, on why he's getting some blame here was those last 2-3 drafts. I don't think anyone's really contributed for that. No one's made any plays. No one's made the team better at that. And then most of them are gone in a year or two.
Yeah.
That's bad. The thing is, if you are not hitting on your draft, because the draft is what makes you better. And say if you're just taking drafting bust, not only is that it's keeping where you're at, but if you can't get players that are all bad, your team's going to progressively just get worse. The draft, if you can hit on the draft, that is a huge thing as a GM to be able to do. And I know for him, I was like, hey man, we're going to start, putting you in the hot seat a little bit there. You haven't been doing it for a bit there. But I was like, you need to show that you can get a good draft here, because he hasn't done it for quite a while, I think.
Well,
thing. And there's no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I mean, right now we got a good draft pick. But
Rosen?
Yeah.
I think that's another thing. If you get a GM that can hit on a young quarterback, that is huge. And then but for him to trade up, and try to get something to work out with the Raiders, I will give him that. That was huge. Now I have to see. I will give Josh Rosen. If you do 2-3 years and you're playing good, then I'll say you got someone good. Before, the critique's still out here.
Yeah, and I mean, I also have to think about it though. If Carson hadn't retired, would that have been the move we made?
Yeah, they should have done 2 a year
But that's
ago.
what I'm saying. Is it was to the line where we didn't have a quarterback. We didn't. I mean, we have what's his face? We did Sam Bradford, but shit.
Yeah,
that guy gets hurt.
I think it was Sam Bradford. I think what he said about the Throws, you don't know if they were ever going to go ahead and hit on the draft for a quarterback there. So that was I'll understand the move. You need someone at least to be there. So I'll give him that. And another thing that with Mike Glennon said, you know, if you didn't get a quarterback, what if what's his face gets hurt? Bradford. Now you're gonna have someone in there. But I think another thing here is the last thing I was gonna say about the kind of. No, I'll bring it back here. With that Carson Palmer, trading him for just a 7th round pick, that's a huge move. So when it comes to the most important ones, he killed it with the Carson Palmer one. A guy who took you to the NFC Championship game, had an MVP year. You know what you had to give up for him? A 7th round pick. That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
And I think
that was bad training on the other team.
Yeah.
Like, are you
Raiders,
kidding me? The Raiders.
But yeah, and then so if it comes with the Josh Rosen, I was like, another thing, like if you have that young quarterback, someone you can think could be a franchise player, you're going to have to do everything you can to put the best players around him, the best coaches around him. So if you're thinking as a GM player, like, okay, if I'm going to stay, you know, as a GM, like a big thing here is if you get that quarterback, that's how you stay for a while.
Yeah.
You're thinking, okay, what am I going to do to try to get this franchise to keep us actually be a good team? Because honestly, with this league, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not competing.
Yeah.
You think to yourself, hey, I have this guy who could be our guy here, this franchise, face of the franchise here. If you see that he's not doing well here with the coach, you know, with Steve Wilkes, it was mostly Mike McCoy. Should I get rid of him? I should put the best people I possibly can, gamble everything to see if, you know, we can make this guy, you know, a star here.
Yeah.
That, and then I want to put the best players around him to make him do the best that he can. Definitely. So I think that's him who says, you know, what should I do about that? So I think that there's a big saving grace on him. Is he actually, not a lot of GMs can do it. Bills, you can even say, I don't know, some other one that Miami, I think Tannehill's alright, but yeah. Browns, Vikings for a while there, if you don't have someone, it could take years to get someone.
Yeah.
And if he was able to do that where he got his Carson Palmer right away, and then it all he took right after Palmer, if you have another guy, that's insane to me. So I am rooting for him, but I was like, he's got to start proving it again here, because this is definitely what are you doing for me? What have you done for me recently, league? I guess the last thing, okay, I kind of just put a knock. I guess the thing I just had to say was, like you said, it was hiring Mike McCoy. Terrible move. You already knew he wasn't good. I don't like that at all. The second one was Steve Wilkes, because you had 5-6 years, you were by far one of the top defenses for years, like top 5 for sure.
That's a good point.
And you could brag about the defensive unit, like that was our bread and butter. It's almost like the identity of the team there. And if you would draft people that were specifically for a 3-4 defense. I understand, you know, you thought Steve Wilkes, you know, could have been a great guy. He was having a lot of praise, you know, on that head coaching search. A lot of people could have got a word for him in there, but you took the gamble for the 4-3. You knew you didn't really have the players for it, and now you went from one of the best defenses for years and years to the worst, or the second worst. That is true. That's a fact. If you went from there to there, I don't know if we should, you know, like, oh, you know, we don't know if the coach is learning. If you went from the best from years to the absolute worst, I'm just not liking that.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I was bringing up earlier when we were talking about Wilkes. I mean, is it his place to go ahead and change the whole dynamic of a team that has been drafted, who has been set, who has been traded, who have been signed to fit a defense for the last 7-9 years?
And I'm like, and you blew it up because you decided to hire that guy. I remember I said it he was on a beach, like on a vacation.
Yeah.
Somebody came up to him, he's blown away by how good it was. That was Steve Wilkes. And if you talk about it like, oh, I did it because I thought, you know, he looked good. But you know, if it's a 4-3, you know, you screw the team down this year, at least this year.
They're talking about trading Buchanan, which, I mean,
that's one of the first runners that have been there for quite a few years now, and he's been good. I don't care what anyone else says. He's been a good-ass player. He is a linebacker. It's hard to be a Pro Bowl linebacker. It's hard. He does a good job. I like him. I think he's served.
Shit, we just talked about that defense was the bread and butter. Buchanan was on that team that made our bread and butter.
He became like that hybrid safety linebacker.
And you can't take that away. But now you're talking about trading him because your idea of what our team needs to be is all of a sudden and not what it needs to be. You can't go from that. But we were also talking about the other day, you know, most GMs, most teams are not going to fire a head coach after the first year.
Yeah, that's true. And then, but some people say like, okay, you know, let's try again the second year. Broncos tried doing that. still bad right now. The only reason they killed it was because they played us, Mike McCoy. They've been pretty fucking shit.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest here. And then you can say, okay, did I really lose another year with all my players, my franchise guys like Von Miller lost another year to not be a champion, contend for championships, because I decided to keep a guy who looked like he shouldn't have been here in the first place after that year. And so that is with that part. We just got one more topic here. And that was, the Diamondbacks here. This is, we are Arizona people, so we are going to talk more about the Arizona local sports. We can talk about it a little more, like we did about, the LeBron James. But the thing I do have here was that Arizona Diamondbacks, they had this guy, Eduardo Escobar, it'd be like just to sign, just they're like, we can't really keep him because, they're going to want to, make more money. But for now, he could be good. He decided to sign. The Diamondbacks signed him. He stayed because that's just, to me, it just shows, that's a statement on how good your organization is, how well it's run, and everything like that. If you get guys that want to stay that weren't supposed to stay, that's pretty huge for me. I think so. Kind of like, I just don't know his name. The guy that we had, it was last year. He was here from Miami. He got signed to the Red Sox, who are in the World Series, but he said, the guy who was getting all those home runs and all that with Goldschmidt. I can't remember his name, so my fuck up there. But he wanted to stay. We just physically didn't have the money to pay him. The money he did deserve because he balled out. And I was like, it just sucks. I think if I'm not mistaken, with the baseball, there's no really salary caps for it.
No.
So it just matters if you have the money like New York, Boston, or to sign those guys.
Yeah, it's because they have the franchise, the people buying their shit. They've got the people showing up no matter who they are, but they're also dynasties. I mean, when was the last time the Red Sox sucked?
Yeah, that's
when was the last
years. The Yankees had down. But what's crazy is what I was saying was we have on our side of the organization is really fucking good. I think one of the best ones out there, honestly. And then when it comes to showing those great players want to stay because they said the organization's so good here. And to me, I'm like, as you know about that as well, it also says, do you stop the rebuild? Because they were considering it after this year because they're like, we don't know if we can have the money to even keep everyone.
Yeah.
Because they talked about, kind of trading Goldschmidt away.
I might
Which is
cry.
sad. Yeah, because that dude's been on here. Arguably one of the best players ever. He was at I think called MVP. I think it was like the other side, but he was a candidate for it last year. I was like, this is a guy who's been showing out for you, and he likes the organization.
Well,
here.
and you also have to remember this year. We talked about it. Their guys got hurt. We've got a couple of hurt players. They're big players. Pollock was hurt. They had Goldschmidt was iffy there.
Pollock was hurt.
Pollock was hurt. What is Archie? Archie, I haven't seen him all of this year. I don't know where the hell he went this year, but last year they made it. They were there. They won the wild card.
So we're showing Escobar on his day. It's like, should you stop the rebuild? Because I'll be honest, I don't want it to happen. It feels so good having a baseball team that's good. So you can talk about it, just something over the summer. It's just fun. Baseball's fun when a team's good. I like, going to the games. They're cheap, and it's just fun to be there. So I kind of understand why they were thinking about the rebuild because, we don't even know if we can keep everyone here.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. What the thing was saying was, how Diamondbacks showing, they're good organization here.
Yeah.
If they were able to keep that guy from last year, because that guy says, if I was actually able to stay, if they had the money, he says, I could see, it's all young players here.
Yeah.
Says we could be good for a very long time.
Yeah, and but
it's just
I also have to bring up, they don't have the money, but they have the money to returf their entire field.
Yeah, I was
when you have players like Escobar who, want to stay, but you have to remember, it's their career. What are they going to do after they play baseball? It's the same with football players. They didn't do well in school. They left school early. Most of them didn't finish their college degree because you can't do college and play in NFL.
That's true. I was even with college, I'm like, those guys aren't really learning.
Some of them are because they have to keep their scholarship. But most of them, Josh Rosen, no degree. No degree, because he didn't get to finish college, because if you finish college, you're too late to go in. Yeah. These baseball players are the same way. Some of them, they're playing 1 year of college baseball, and then they're in the NFL. Or, I'm sorry, in the MLB. there
or
are
they
a
go
lot
like
of
the minor leagues. A lot of them go to the minor leagues.
Some of them go to the minor leagues, but a lot of them sign right out or in the freaking into the league.
I kind of see what you're saying there, but I guess just to do a little debate with you.
Yeah.
Just the last thing I was like, they make so much money at the end of their career. They can definitely just sign. They can finish their thing. But I see what you're saying.
But that's what I'm saying is if you're not able to pay your players, you got to do what's best to make the money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you became a baseball player because you're good at it, and god damn, if you're good at it, you make some
maximize. You're only in there for a certain amount of time anyway.
That's
I was like,
saying.
another thing I was like, if there's a team that they had a championship, they won. You have your ring. That was the main thing that you have. Now I'm like, if you're just going for the money, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Well,
Take it while there's a chance, because it's not a long career.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Baseball is a lot longer than football. The average career in football is 3 years, like 4 years. Pretty much 3 years. I was like, what if you can actually have the chance to be able to sign a free agency contract?
Yeah.
Go where the money's at. I don't blame you. I really don't.
I mean, well, that's what I'm saying is you and I are going to work high. Hopefully, we're going to work high-end jobs and work it until we're able to retire. But there's no cap to our spending or our money making. We can work till we die. We have the degree. We have the ability to do so. It's just our want. These guys, they don't have that ability. Once they're out of that age or they get hurt or they've capped out. Where they they've got that reserve of the money in the bank because they're making millions of dollars a year. But I mean, they're also living a little outside their means when you're making millions of dollars.
I was going to say that too in another debate. I was like, I think if you're a player who's playing and you had a lot of money and now you went bankrupt, I was like, I don't really feel bad for you.
No, I don't either.
You have that money. I was like, it's smart. I was like, anyone, even if you're not making like millions and millions, I was like, you can eventually get. It's just being smart with your money. You can eventually get to where you're fine, and you can do that. I was like, if you have all that money and all that time afterward, I was like, think of something, dude.
Yeah.
You could be fine.
Agree.
I was like, if you were just broke, I was like, after that, I was like, dude, I don't care.
And I don't
That's
think
your fuck up.
And I don't
it's
think
not my problem.
I don't think that happens. I'm more saying we have the ability of moving up and making that money. We can move up and become CEOs. We can, make our own business and get all of that because we have, the college degree that got us there that allows us to do that. If your college degree is baseball, you're going to go to where you make more money. Just like we would leave the job that makes us 14 to go make 22.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. But that was kind of like the last thing I had there. I was like, we lasted pretty long, which was exactly what I wanted. It's like if we get like 40, 30 minutes or just like that for now, that's what I wanted. Because for the video, the first thing would just be 2-3 headlines, throw something, just sort of kind of funny in there, and move on. Just make it a short video. Another thing I kind of thought about was maybe I could do something funny with it, but then just talk about it for like 2 minutes. Like, oh, this is what I think. So they can actually be a bit longer. People will want to click on it more. So know the funny parts and all of that. That's just going to take time to make it nicer and make it more official. That way you can still have something to talk about. You look a little bit better. But when it comes to actually having things and talking about it and sitting down, which I love because I am a huge sports guy. I've been for quite a long time. I love to be able to just sit here and talk about it. If we can get it where this is kind of our job, oh my God, I would love that. That would be the best. So yeah, I was like, I also want to talk a long time here and talk about sports. That's what the podcast is here for. And once again, that's going to be the podcast is going to be called SSN Podcast. I want to have it where those videos are uploaded every Tuesday. And when it comes to the videos, we're going to have those every Thursday. Once we have that, that's just, have a format for you so what the videos are, you can expect it, and that way we can hit some consistency here, start growing the channel and everything like that.
Yeah, and another thing, we did say that we're Arizona fans. We're going to talk about those Arizona sports. But please, if you want us to talk about your team, please let us know. There's going to be stuff that we can talk about, and I promise you, we talk a lot more than just our team.
Just our sports.
When we're sitting over here on the couch, we're not just talking about the Suns, about the Cardinals.
Yeah, if you want to throw in a comment, even for the videos, just say like, oh, I want to talk about this. It's like, well, definitely do it. We just want some engagement. If it keeps us, getting more people to watch and subscribe and like, then definitely, But that's another thing I was gonna say. To kind of wrap it up. If you like this, definitely just always just smash that like button, dude. It helps us out a lot. It just gets us, the more views and everything like that. And make sure to subscribe, because if you want to talk about it and all of that, and if you have ideas, definitely throw some comments down. We want to make this better and all of that. And I definitely appreciate all of that. So if you could do that, dude, honestly, we appreciate that a lot. That would help us out. But yeah, so that's the kind of time to be expecting it. Tuesday would be the podcast, and Thursday would be our videos. Besides that, this has been SSN Podcast over here, and we'll see you next Thursday. Have a good one, guys.